Hello, my name is Ohemaa Sewa Osei Titujia, and I'm a member of VBCI International Heaven on Earth Sanctuary. I joined this church in 2021, and that's where my overflow of testimonies began. I don't even know where to start from, but in 2021, that is when my husband and I met. We actually met in 2020, but our relationship furthered in 2021 and we decided to get married in 2022. I'm mentioning this because the church and the leadership of the church has played a vital role in my marriage. From the conception of the relationship throughout, the dating period, courtship, and marriage. It was a beautiful experience. I remember that during the time I was dating my husband, we had an issue where we eventually broke up. But through the intervention of Lady Pastor Janice and Reverend Nee, we went through some form of counseling and we came back together and we furthered our relationship to marriage. From the wedding preparations, counseling, advice, the leadership of the church has been a solid rock, helping us every step of the way, right up until now. So this is one of the things that me joining VBCI has been a blessing. Not every church, or let's say not every leader of a church will actually be interested in your personal life and something as intense as marriage and relationships. The depth of the thing. How our pastors went deep into the matter with me was really touching because I felt loved. And my husband and I decided to worship with VBCI Heaven on Earth. Fast forward, 2020, after we got married, we took seed in July into August. So I realized that I was pregnant and yay, we were happy, good news. Unfortunately, we lost the pregnancy to an ectopic. It was an ectopic pregnancy. I remember that's a Sunday, particular Sunday, I came to church. I was ministering as part of the praise and worship team, and I was in so much pain. So much pain. I did not know how to, hold myself, but I couldn't. Nobody knew I was in pain whilst I was leading worship. When I went home, I realized I was bleeding, which was pretty unusual. Well, I thought it was implantation bleeding or spotting. Those of us who have been through that, we know what that means. So after I progressed, I realized that it was getting worse as the days went by. I spoke to Lady Pastor Janice. She recommended a doctor. I went to see the doctor. She took me through prayers and counseling. The leadership of the church, they interceded for me. But unfortunately, I had to terminate it. That's when I had discovered that it was an ectopic pregnancy. So I went through the surgery and I went through all of that procedure, the process. And even at that time, I still had the church's backing, the presence, encouragement, the prayers, the well wishes. It was just so amazing. I felt loved. It was as if nothing had actually happened because there was no sorrow. I was actually at rest during that period. It was a beautiful time. Then, yes, so a month after I had admission to go to the Gambia to study law, to do the professional course to become a lawyer. It was a very hard time for me, leaving my family, leaving the church. I mean, when I was there, I missed so many events. Although I was an online member, I know it wasn't as great as being in person, but n- as when I was there, I just couldn't find any church to fellowship with. That was in the beginning. And I still stuck with VBC I have known it via social media platforms. And it still helped me to connect to God, connect to my church family. I didn't feel as though I was away, even though I was away. It was a beautiful experience, even though I wasn't here in person. And even though I was there, I'll receive calls, I'll receive prayers, checkups. I could anytime call any of the church leaders, the prayer team to intercede on my behalf on a matter. It was just I was just feeling loved, even though I was far away from home. And so your prayers and encouragement and everything helped me to go through the process. And at that time, I got pregnant again, doing law school out of the country, alone with no family, um, being pregnant. I couldn't have gone through that period without this church, to be honest with you. The encouragement, the prayers, the well wishes, it kept me going. And to the glory of God, I have been able to be called to the bar in the Gambia and I have my baby. So I bagged two testimonies in 2023. Apart from that, the church also has helped me in my prayer and fasting life, especially with the prayers. My husband and I being able to be in a place where we are being fed the real word and being taught how to pray. We are building this foundation for our family. I believe this church is a great church for couples because it helps you to build your foundation for the family. The two of us being planted in this place is a great blessing. And ever since we started this church, we haven't seen anything but testimonies. It's been a beautiful 3-year journey. In fact, when I return home, I've seen so much growth in the church. And that in itself is a testimony. I'm glad, I'm privileged to be part of VBCI Heaven on Earth. In fact, I've pulled my sisters and I'll keep pulling people to this church because this is really the city of rest. When you are here, you are aligned to your purpose and you are at rest. Of course, you will be drilled. The prayers, the fasting, you will have to go through it because no testimony comes easy. You have to go through the mill. And I'm glad that over here, we are being taught the right way. And so this is my testimony joining VBCI for since 2021, almost 4 years now. And I can actually testify that this place is the city of rest. And so invite your family, your friends, and anybody that you believe will need this rest because this place is where God lives. Thank you.